Hi guys. For this lesson, we're going to be learning about parallel and perpendicular lines. So we're going to extend further what we know about slope and use that to write equations for other lines. So these are the four objectives we're going to be doing. Let's move on to our first one, slopes of parallel lines. Okay, so parallel lines are lines that never meet on the coordinate plane. So they go on forever, and they're equidistant from each other. And you should also hear this a lot in art class. I know that Ms. Anderson talks about it. So if they go on and they are always equidistant from each other, and they continue on throughout the plane and they never touch, you should know that they have the same slopes. So here I gave you a picture. We have y equals 2x plus 1 on the red line, and we have y equals 2x minus 2 on the blue line. And these two lines are parallel to each other. They both have a slope of 2. All right, so let's look at some steps that we're going to do, and then we're going to do some examples. So, number 2, find the equation of a line parallel, the lines like that mean parallel, to a given line through a given point. So these are the steps you're going to take. The first thing you're going to do is you're going to make two columns, and on one side you're going to write line 1, and on the other side you're going to write line 2, and you're going to find the slope for each one of them. So the slope of line 1 and the slope of line 2. And then you're going to use the other information that's given to write the equation. All right, so let's look at an example. Find the equation of the line that passes through 12, 5 and is parallel to our equation y equals 2/3 x minus 1. Okay, so I put the little steps up there at the top right. First thing is to make the two columns. On the one side, you're going to write line 1, and on the other side, you're going to write line 2. Well, line 1, this equation that we have, we know that our slope is 2/3. Our m is 2/3. That's what's given in our equation. If line 2 is parallel to line 1, then we know that that slope is also 2/3. And the other piece of information we have is 12, 5. All right, so now to write the equation for the second line, well, we have our slope and we have a point. So what we're going to do is we're going to use our point-slope equation. There we go. Start with your point-slope equation. So we have y minus 5 equals our slope times parentheses x minus 12. All right, so that's what's given. Now we just have to simplify this, because when you write your equation, you should write it in slope-intercept form. So what we're going to do next is we're going to distribute the 2/3, and you get that. And then you're going to add the 5 over to the other side, so the 5 to the minus 8, and you get the negative 3. And that's your answer, y equals 2/3 x minus 3. Okay, so let's try another one. If you want, you can pause the video and try and do this one on your own. It does have a slight little difference from what the problem we just did. You're finding a line parallel to y minus 2 equals 3x, and it's passing through negative 2, 7. All right, so line 1, I don't see the slope right away because that's not in slope-intercept form. All right, so that should kind of be your hint. If you can do this on your own, try. You should rearrange the equation by adding the 2 to the other side, getting our slope-intercept equation, and then naming your slope of 3, which means that my slope for line 2 is also 3 because they're parallel. Take my point. Now I'm going to plug it into point-slope form. I think I deleted it. There we go. Now distribute. I distributed and added at the same time, and then simplified. Okay, so there should be my answer. All right, so let's move on to our next objective. Parallel lines we already did. Perpendicular lines, lines that come to a 90-degree angle. And my picture is not, there we go. A little bit better. Anyways, okay, so they make a 90-degree angle. They're going to have slopes that are opposite reciprocals. So let me explain that a little bit better. So we have line 1 and line 2. Opposite, you should know positive, negative. Reciprocal, that's when you flip it. Hopefully you know that already as well. So if I have that the first line is 2, I have to take the opposite and the reciprocal of that. So opposite of 2 is negative 2, and then you flip it, so its slope would become negative 1/2. If I gave you a slope of negative 4/5, you take the opposite of negative, becomes positive 4/5, and you flip it, so it becomes 5/4. Please remember or note that slopes are staying as improper fractions, because we always want to know our rise over our run. Okay. So now let's try some examples of these. Find the equation of the line that passes through 2, 4 and is that symbol that looks like an upside down T. That means perpendicular. To x minus 3y equals 3. All right, and I put the little steps over here on the side. Our first line, well, we don't really have the slope yet, so we're going to need to rearrange the equation like we did in the last example. We're going to subtract our x over, and then we're going to have to divide everything by -3. So you get y equals 1/3 x minus 1. Okay, now we name our slope is 1/3. Now, to find the slope of line 2, remember you have to take the opposite of 1/3 and then take the reciprocal. So we get -3. Okay, and then our other information is 2, 4. We plug it into point slope. We get that. We simplify. And we get y equals -3x plus 10. Okay. Here's one I want you to try on your own. I'm not going to show you the work. You should try it and then check your answer. So pause me first, and I'll reveal the answer. So that should be your final answer for the line that's perpendicular to it. Okay, one more question for you, and that's it for this video. And it's a challenge question that I want you to think about. Find the line that's perpendicular to x minus 4. So I want you to think, and you might want to remember what hoi bucks means, and maybe that will help you with this. But that's it. Hope you have a good one. Bye.